Hey, JJ here, and this is the Lens of Truth podcast where we play through the oldies and modern goldies to give you our opinion. With nearly 100 years of gaming between all of us, we see how well these gems hold up in our eyes. With me today, we have...
It's me, T.I.
Firefly.
And Zerovii.
And today, we are doing The Hex, which was recommended by ATI, and that was quite a trip. I will say that right off the bat. It's a little special, I'll say. Any reason why?
Yeah, this was a little trip through history of gaming, trip through multiple lenses, a bit of a PC gaming entry.
Any reason why you wanted to specifically have us venture through this one? Was it just because of Spooky Mod? It's got a place in your heart, a little bit of column A, column B?
Yeah, a little bit of everything. Daniel Mullins, the creator of this game, does hold a special part in my heart. That played a part of it. He encapsulates this spirit of game design where it's like he comes from an era where he was clearly influenced by like the old classics. It comes from a time of like Newgrounds and like Flash sites and like before itch.io days, and like he kind of encapsulates that kind of design, but it also piggybacks off of the whodunits of MEO that we did last week. This game starts you in a little hotel. It starts you with like a little murder mystery, so it's kind of that kind of vibe. But I also felt like we've covered a lot of console stuff, but we haven't really covered this like PC Flash type game history. So this kind of plays into like the connection between console game history, PC and Flash game stuff, kind of like blending those two realms a bit. I don't know what your experiences are with like the old Flash games if you're on Newgrounds, Congregate and Armor games and all that stuff, but I feel like this kind of harkens back to that if you have a soft spot for those at all.
Oh, don't worry. I played that Columbine Newgrounds game, Lenny. But yeah, no,
Okay, that's what I was. No, I'm just kidding. All those Pico's school shooting adventures or whatever on Newgrounds.
Edward Mullins, he said. Was that correct?
Daniel Mullins.
Daniel Mullins. What else did he make? Would I be familiar with other stuff that he's done?
So he has made so his major releases that have been on Steam and everything have been Pony Island, and then it was The Hex, and then it was Inscription. You might have heard of Inscription. I feel like Pony Island at the time was pretty big as well. This one feels like it was kind of his sleeper of the three games he kind of put out. He's put out some games on like itch.io and stuff where it's like smaller scale. He's done a lot of game jams. Clearly been around the scene and like been a forum poster. I couldn't find too much information on like his like game dev history before Pony Island and stuff. He seems kind of mysterious, and that kind of adds to his games because he leans into that like mysterious developer ARG, like fourth wall leaving hints behind for people type of dev, and it's always got this nice little bit of discovery to his games.
Yeah, that always adds a nice little extra layer to the game. You know, if this is a narrative-based game, there is gameplay and stuff. It's not like, like it's a visual novel or anything like that. But it definitely does kind of just drill you through like this cool little story. Like you said, it opens up at this little like tavern kind of innkeep area, and it's kind of a whodunit. It immediately gets you going. Like it throws you into the mystery, and you start off as the Weasel Boy, or I thought, I guess that's a rip on Crash Bandicoot or Tails, kind of, but
even Sonic, like that's a whole amalgamation of just like history. Like this is the little platformer guy. He's a little Sprungle animal inspired platformer. Like you've seen a billion of them. It's not quite one thing or the other, but like he's jumping on his Mario Cloud. He's got a little mushroom Goombas.
Yeah.
Like it's all this bunch of game design Sprungloids.
My Scrimbo.
He's our Scrimbo.
That's right.
But yeah, no, it's cool.
Even when he jumps on the clouds, they have like a little giggle every time.
Yeah, I like that. It was very
The little
soft.
clouds.
It's
Yeah,
like, "Ooh."
just whimsical platformer. Nothing can go wrong here. You're just in good old game land.
Yeah.
I think that is a cool little thing that they did though, because so the Hex basically has that murder mystery vibe, or technically not even a murder mystery, kind of like someone is going to commit a murder. And the way it kind of draws you through the game is it starts off, as one character, Weasel Boy, and that represents the platforming genre. And then as you progress through each character's story, it starts getting, turn-based RPG, run and gun, shoot 'em up, just all kinds of fighting games, all kinds of cool little genre bending where it never overstays its welcome, never overcomplicates things. It just kind of like says like, "Hey, this is what we're doing. We'll get through it." It's pretty forgiving, but it's definitely cool that it like starts you off on such a light note, like so to speak, because it's just like you were saying, it's this little cheery kind of calm platformer, and as you progress, it gets into some weirdness, some little darkness here and there. But we'll get into that. So, Weasel Boy, how did you guys all like Weasel Boy's segment?
I
I
really
thought,
like that part. Mainly because it was kind of like the Mario platform game where you just keep going and jump on these little mushroom Goomba looking guys, and then uh, you can even like punch them and stuff in this one.
Yeah,
So it was I really liked it.
it's got the triple jump too, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, and like the little comments that pop up from Steam on
Mhm.
the screen, that was nice.
Yeah, I was gonna.
yeah,
Unexpected, and it was pretty funny too.
yeah, the friend API stuff is very funny in this game.
Yeah, this game is pretty good, but I just don't see the point of the coins, you know?
I miss,
Oh yeah,
I miss
Me
the
too.
old Weasel Boy.
To give people context, ATI's comment in my playthrough of Super Weasel Boy,
Yeah,
where you have to jump on these comments like platforms.
it
Yeah, it's one of those games where we've seen this element pop up at this point in games a lot, but this came out in 2018. It integrates stuff from your Steam friends list. It has like your friends writing fake reviews that pop up in the game, and it's like a bit of a fourth wall breaky thing, but it's also like uh, trying to build a picture of the in-universe story of like how these games were received at the time, and like because there's this whole meta narrative of how the developer of all of these games like is how his life progressed as he made all of these, and like the story at his studio and like the things that went on behind the scenes, and like okay, Weasel Kid's his first game, then how's he gonna one up this? He has to move on and make something bigger and better with the next character, and like the characters all act like they're just employees on the job, and like maybe that setting is a little bit trite and overdone at this point, but like I think it's still cute. I think that it was well done. It tackles a lot. Again, it blends a lot of gaming history into like little bits that it really analyzes by using that fourth wall and like getting the like dev input on it a little bit. So I thought that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I like that this game like did a lot more with that concept of them just being like actors rather than just, oh yeah, they're all chill behind the scenes. They just play roles in the games. Like that's it. Like this actually had them like talking to each other, like commentating, musing about like the changing times as this GameWorks company buys the IPs and takes over, forcing them into roles they don't want to do.
Yeah, it's cool too how a lot of the games have like characters that transfer over into their own games. There's a lot of just kind of there's a lot of interconnected like there's a world, there's like a shared universe almost like of this developer where like he'll do Super Weasel Boy, but then he does Chef Bryce, and it has the Secrets of Legendaria character in it, or Lazarus is in the turn-based RPG, and it definitely like tells this whole coherent narrative in a way that's like pretty damn unique. Like we mentioned earlier about the friends list popping up. This game is simple on the outside, but there is this deeper, very, very clever, like, meta narrative that kind of brings everything all together. Because you could say this game is fine, like, on its own without that, but the way the game progresses and slowly starts, like, fleshing out what was going through the developer at the time, and then into the, like, culmination of, like, the very ending of all that goes on, it's super clever. Like, whether certain things are trite or overdone at this point, it took a simple concept, but at the end of the day, it actually made it really clever, which is not that easy to do these days. You could have $1 billion budget.
It gives you a lot of little cookie crumbs as like you're going through Weasel Kid's story, and it's like everything is happy, and like you can't even land on spikes because Mr. Shrew, your little helper friend, is like helping you. He's like, oh, don't try not to step on those spikes. You're really wearing me out by having me help you all this time.
Yeah.
And it's like, so I started walking on all the spikes to like make him like work overtime and like protect me from everything. Like, it's just little things. Then you like, the game teases you almost like, hey, if you keep doing this thing, maybe there's something behind the curtains. Maybe you can walk out of bounds over here or something. Like, there's all these little cracks and seams where like it would just be a simple little game on a surface. You only have WASD and your left click button for like most of your controls for this game. There's not much to it. It's like simple on its surface on the purpose. But then like you start seeing all these little bits, and that fourth wall starts crumbling. You start like connecting how the characters are connected, what the developer is doing, and yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah.
And the interconnectivity is really what sells it.
Yeah, a lot of this game is kind of like what I would aspire to do if I ever made a game. Super simple, but there is this extremely clever, like, side to it that makes it extremely worth, like, its while. Like, even Weasel Kid at the Six Pint Inn, if you look at him, he's got like tattoos and piercings, and he's got sunglasses and like really like ripped designer jeans, and he's like a totally different character than the one that's in the Super Weasel Kid game, where he's like, this kind of like regular,
all pure and bright
yeah.
eyed.
It was cool to see them be scuffed like through the
From Weasel Kid to Weasel Man.
Yeah, when you get to play what was it, Radical Road, I think it was the sequel, and like the dev starts like really wanting to start doing fighting game things, so he adds like basic punching to it. And you
yeah.
also see like Super Weasel Kid's like more edgy now, and I just get like Sonic Adventure 2 vibes the entire time.
Yeah.
It's like you start beating the shit out of Goombas.
Yeah, and he's like, out of my way, old man, when like Mr. Shoes tell him like to be careful.
Mhm.
And then he fucking grabs the sign at the end and surfs on it, and I'm like, this is fucking peak. This is all I needed from this game. 10 out of 10. Best
Yeah.
game I ever played.
Yeah.
It's funny too.
It's such a good little simple like commentary on like teenage rebellion, and like, fuck you, Pops, I don't need your help anymore. He skates away on the sign. It's so funny.
Even like
It's simple, but it's very funny.
even the way they characterize like platformer characters, like there are, like Zero said, like that Sonic Adventure 2, like, yeah, let's go. Like, again, like, I don't know if you have the picture, but if you bring up Super Weasel Kid, and then look at his progression into Super Weasel Kid 2, like, he still has the edgy glasses in Super Weasel Kid 2. Like, he's definitely like edged up. But by the time you see him in the Six Pint Inn, he's like, he's lost the suspenders, he's got the tattoo, he's got the piercing. Like, he does go through this like transformation that a lot of like characters of a past era kind of had to go through to kind of edge themselves up.
I grow up with the audience a bit.
Yeah. And again, it shows you like the developers' mindset of like, I made this really classic platformer called Super Weasel Kid, and that was like however long ago, but now I have to one up myself, and how do I do that? Like, it puts you in the developer's shoes in a way, like, because there are characters that were like this. Again, like, it was Sonic Adventure is a great example. Sonic was this cute little guy. He always had a little attitude, but then by the Dreamcast era, this dude was like doing pop punk music in the background, and it was just going all crazy. And you had Shadow the Hedgehog. Like, it was a transformation, and I do feel like this game does that subtly, but in a meaningful
it
way.
doesn't like beat you over the head with a lot of that, but like if you were there and you saw the gamescape like of the years this was influenced by, like the late 90s and everything, the early 2000s, that's where a lot of this pulls from. It's You can just see it, like this is made by someone who was there and like in the depth of like understanding what games were going through.
Yeah, like even Pac-Man, like what Pac-Man world, like Pac-Man was Pac-Man. He was just this little yellow guy. And then Pac-Man World came out, and while it wasn't extremely edgy, you could see these developers being like, "How do we make this character a little bit more than what it was?" And it's cool to see the what was the Lionel something was the actual like in-game developer to do
It was like Lionel Sniff or something
Yeah.
stupid.
something silly
Hold
like
on,
that.
Lionel Snell.
Lionel Snill,
That
yeah.
was it.
So you kind of get into his like mindset as things go on, and I thought that was just a really nice touch. But like right after Super Weasel Boy, this game isn't too long. I beat it in like 5 hours and change. I got up to make some food in a little bit.
Yeah, just to be clear, you mean the Hex entirely, not just Super Weasel
Yeah,
Boy.
just to be clear, yeah, the Hex as a game itself, like each of these segments are, give or take maybe anywhere from 30 minutes to an hour, and there's, about 5 characters, give or take. So
That kind of plays into like the Flash gaminess of it. Like they're bite size enough where like they could have stood it as their own big old campaigns on some Flash site back in the day.
yeah,
1 hour
absolutely.
chunk of some genre biting thing.
Like he could have made Combat Arena X like a whole Flash game. Like if he put all that effort into that he put into the Hex into Combat Arena X, he could have had like a crazy little Flash game that would probably be beloved. But that's just the reality of games. You try some stuff out, because I saw a lot of people on Steam saying like, why isn't this game more well known? Is this a hidden gem? Like people asking all these silly questions, and I think it was just a little experimental. It looked maybe a little too simple for a lot of people to want to like really dig into. But I mean,
The art style is very like clip arty, like this. It's very South Parky, where the like limbs are just like pasted on top of each other, and like they spin around, and like it's not like high animation budget, but it's like all homemade. It's all his own things made in Unity. It's very unique,
and it's fun to play. That's
it's
the
just like-
the
yeah,
bottom line. Like it was fun. Each genre is handled
that's what
really
video
well.
games are for.
Yep.
Again, like if they're not fun, then what's the point? Again, like going back to Silent Hill F, it's like I don't even care that it's like turned from some like awkward horror game thing into like an action game because it's fun to play.
Yeah. And we still have those old games to always go back to. It doesn't, and it still remains scary too. It was very spooky. So
Yeah.
if it's a little faster paced or it does something different, it's fine as long as the whole core is still there. But after Super Weasel Boy, we go straight into Combat Arena X. There's little segments after you do each character's world. It's like find a key or make a pie or whatever.
It's like it brings you back to the hotel to be like, okay, we're back at like the entire scope of things. Instead of like, so the chapters are you're going into the history of these characters, and then in between you're just at the hotel, like talking to each other, exploring the hotel, like looking for clues, like kind of a detective mystery things. But you go from starting a Super Weasel Kid into you go into Bryce. He starts as his fighting game, which is like a bit of a punch outy type thing, Street Fighter-y punch out, a bunch of little things melded together here.
Yeah, I think this was one of my, I don't know. I think this is my favorite game, just because of the way it I love fighting games. I love how it introduces, it's slowly, it's a tutorial without being overly annoying. Like it genuinely like just like teaches you how to play and do everything that you need to do. Everything's telegraphed, but like it just shows you how tough fighting games can be because there were people on the Steam community boards that were like completely baffled at what they wanted to like at what they had to do to beat certain characters. And in my mind, I was just like, this is like a flash game. Like, what are you people talking about? But like, there's nuance to fighting games, and I have a billion hours in it, so even the most basic one will be easy. But people that aren't familiar with this genre, even like a tutorial basic Chef Bryce kind of game was tough for them. So it was kind of interesting to see like how again I can't overstate how well each of these genres were handled. Like as a fighting game, kind of just like mini game with quotes around it. I think this nailed it. Like it was fun. You had your rock paper scissors. You had funny weird
You got
characters.
high lows, blocks.
Yeah,
Like
the ultimate. Like it was really well done. I was kind of grinning the whole time playing this game, just the hex in
on
general.
top of that, it's just showing you the reception of players. At
Yeah.
the same time, a lot of times, like Zero said earlier, you'll either see like Steam reviews pop up or like some fucking Twitch chat
Yeah.
or like reviews for the game being like, "Oh, this character's OP, this strategy is cheap," and then like
Yeah.
the developer in real time is like, "Oh, I had to nerf Chef Bryce to make him a little more fair," and then like you go through the changes like that. And
I like how it delivered that too, because like when you just see like these random like forum posts and like tier list aggregation based on tournament results sites and things pop up in the background, I was just chuckling the entire time.
uh,
And then when you have to get
it,
nerfed, like every time you win a fight, it lets you like get another buff, like a 1 of 2 selection. And then when you found out to get nerfed, it gives you like a 1 of 2 like negative effects to pick. And I think one like reverses up and down on your controller, and the other one was like less health or something. And I don't remember what the other one was.
There was a
it
few,
conveyed the
yeah.
nightmare of being a developer so well and like having to listen to feedback. Like, what the fuck does anyone know? Everyone's disagreeing. Everyone is knee jerk. Like, oh, this character won once. You got to nerf him. It's like, you poor fighting game devs that this actually happens to. It must be a nightmare.
And none of it is really like embellished or anything. Like this is how it. Go on Twitter after a random Smash tournament or a random Capcom Cup tournament, and you'll just see these people that this game was making fun of, just them earnestly arguing. Oh, this character's not top 8 anymore. Oh, this character, how many of these characters were in top? Like, it's never ending. Like, you're never going to please everyone. And no matter how much you try and bend over backwards for them, you're going to bend over the opposite way. And then those people, like, it's such a tug of war. Like, you can't win. And, it was really cool just to see that, like, happen in real time. Just them nerfing and buffing and banning characters. Like eventually Chef Bryce's whole goal is to be so OP that he gets banned and out of the game. And
Because
I thought it was cool.
that's what the what's her name? God, I forget her name. The sorceress.
I called
girl.
her Zelda.
Chandrel.
Chandrel, thank you. I just keep calling her Diablo 2 sorceress.
Yeah.
Chandrel, yeah, Chandrel's like, hey, I heard a hint, like, if you want to get out of here, you gotta be OP, and they'll get rid of you.
Which is cool.
It's like
And that's,
malicious
like,
compliance to the game.
Yeah, it's that part of that cool, like, way they handled, like, the everyone's an actor playing roles type of thing. I really like that detail.
And it was cool seeing her in that game because you think, like, this is when the game starts trickling, like, other characters into the games. Because
Yeah, you start learning that they're not just like individual disconnected games. They all have a history together. Like Chandrel starts in the fighting game, and then the game dev is like, not the game dev, but like the AI service that he uses to help like develop his games. It's like, you know what? Let's take this character out of here, put you in the RPG. Yoink.
yeah, and then that begins her journey basically. Like I guess Chef Bryce, you have to make the pie, right? Wasn't that like this in between? There's kind of
To get the key.
Yeah.
Yeah, once he's OP, he gets sent to back to cooking grandma.
Yeah. He also had a cool nuanced backstory, where he was like he was in Cooking Granny as just like a random character, or he was a cooking quest, I believe, and Lionel Snill like loved this game growing up that he like bought the rights to Chef Bryce and then put him into his own kind of fighting game or whatever, which I thought was just really cool because I feel like there's a lot of that going on these days where like you have the companies like Limited Run Games or God knows who at GOG, where they're like reaching out to all these old companies and not quite trying to get like the IPs or whatever, like not trying to buy the characters, but they are trying to like restore these old games and bring them back to like a new light and kind of do something new. I thought that was a nice little kind of like touch where Lionel Snill was just so in his own little nostalgia bubble. He was like, I made it big with Super Weasel Boy or whatever. I'm gonna buy characters to my favorite Scrimbo game.
I'm gonna make them top tier in my fighting game.
Something else I liked was like near the end of that, like you see posts about like Combat Arena X8.
Yeah.
And it was like fucking Tekken 8 out here.
I did see.
Yeah, it just keeps going and going.
So I
That little the little pie mini game with the granny too. That was fun. I was like, this granny's throwing the pie so fast. You can put it in the oven.
Yeah, and then
I was like, slow down.
what game was that trying to ape off of? Because they did the Burger Time with the filling up the mug and catching it and sliding it over or whatever. I'm trying to think.
Oh yeah, the root beer.
Yeah, I'm trying to think.
This wasn't Cooking Mama didn't have anything like this, did it? Because that's like my immediate thought is like clearly it's Cooking Mama, but there's something else here.
It's like it reminds me of a Game and Watch game, like something.
For sure,
it's definitely doing something like that.
I can't imagine.
It's that whole like branch.
Like I'm like a huge Game and Watch nerd, and I still can't think of what game it might be aping entirely.
Yeah, it's something.
That's the thing. It's never like really specific. It kind of blends a lot of influences all at once. I was like, oh, it's this thing. Oh wait, it's also this. No, wait, it's some of this too.
Mm-hmm. If you turn this screen upside down, it's almost like Ball because you have to like go up and down. Like there's like 3 points of where you would have to go. That's a big stretch, but the point is it is like an old school type of like little mini game that they throw in there. The references just never end. That like this is just a love letter to like these old school type of games, which is just really cool.
It's literally a specific era, and like when we grew up with again Newgrounds in like early 2000s, that site like idolized certain kinds of retro games. Like it put games on pedestals, and like there were Zelda like Newground games. There were the Mario likes. Like there were all these like impersonators that like there were almost endless amounts of them you could just browse through and scroll through and play that were just love letters to these genres and huge titans of titles. That's what these all feel like.
Yeah, absolutely. And like I said, I can't overstate how well it's all done because right after Chef Bryce, we get sucked into, there's a few little things in between. You get the key, do your thing. But then we get sucked into Secrets of Legendaria, which I was right at home with this one right here. This was fun, especially
RPG.
Yeah, especially getting off the heels of just playing a little bit of Dragon Quest 1 and 2 HD remake. I was right at home with this one. So, it just kind of starts off with the sorceress Chandrel Stormblaze, which is just the most like Blizzard coded like type of name. In my mind, she was Zelda, but this is definitely for sure just kind of do the Diablo kind of like Hearthstone, World of Warcraft,
Elder Scrollsy, like Western RPG lady is like Western fantasy, like that kind of like high fantasy, Western fantasy, like going to slay the dragon with my Lord of the Rings sword named whatever the mystical elfy name, that whole genre of fantasy, that's her.
Yeah, it was a silly little thing, but I do like how the whole twist for this one, again, they all kind of have their own little twists. Chef Bryce has to get so OP, he gets kicked out of the game. For this one, she basically just says, you know what, screw this plot. I'm not doing it. I don't want endless sequels. I don't want to be a slave to this franchise.
She didn't even want to be in an RPG. She was like over it from the start.
Right? That's kind of a good point. But yeah, you spend most of this game in your typical Dragon Quest-y kind of fashion where you're just doing your thing. There's like 3 orbs that you gotta get. You get your pal Lazarus, who's just like reminds me of like a Napoleon Dynamite character. He just kind of looks like super uninterested. Like he's got like
he's just totally zoned out all the time.
Got like
he's
a
just
puss
there to
face
clock
on. Like he's just kind of like.
Yeah.
I did like all the twists though with this, where you got your Moogles there, which was cool. I loved seeing my discount Moogles. And you can end up killing the Moogle during the tutorial, and then like throughout her story, there's like other Moogles that are like, "When's Dad coming home?" and like little stuff like that, and it was pretty.
Kill the dad. He's like 2 screens away from the sun. I feel like the sun should have seen this happen in real time.
No, he was off screen.
And that's the kind of thing, like that kind of humor happens constantly in this game, where it's like your character is just so blasé about their actions that are like out of character for what a simple, like innocent game hero would have done. Instead, your character is like, fuck this, I've been here for 30 years, I don't care anymore, my heart's not in it for this company, like that kind of attitude,
Yeah. It had a lot of like her demeanor, her just being so over everything was a nice touch, because you do always have this overly enthusiastic like JRPG protagonist who's like, "Yeah, we're gonna do it," and she's just like, "No, like I'm so done with this." Like she's got a puss face on too the whole time, and I just thought it nailed the old school RPG. Because it did feel like I was playing like an RPG. Like I got so invested in this RPG, like for as Flash Newgrounds as it was. Like I was like, every time you level up, you get to choose something, and I'm like really thinking about it. And I was like, see, I didn't buy anything. I just kind of like worked off of like my level ups, and I was just like, this is a competent little RPG. Like it's fun.
It like understands the economy of powering up.
Yes, it really does. Was that Firefly?
Did any of you take Lazarus' opinion, like taking the shortcut or going the grindy way?
With the Onks, or was it?
No, I went the grindy way.
I also
went to fight the dragon boss fight.
I also went the grindy way, but I did peek my head into the shortcut once I was on the other side to see what it said.
Yeah, I don't think I took the shortcut.
I took the shortcut, but then I died, so then I went to the grindy way.
What happened in the shortcut? Was it just like you just went to the dragon?
You just went to the dragon. So I was under leveled, so I had to go to the grindy way.
It set up like a little developer note from one of the designers at the studio. It just says like long grindy path with an arrow pointing right, and it's just in plain text, and then left it says dragon boss fight, and then dash the developer name, which is Carla.
I wonder if I did do the dragon right off the bat. I can't remember. I'd have to look at my VOD. I'm curious now.
Crit.
I think I like eased my way through it in typical JJ RPG fashion in a way. I'm 50-50 though. I'd have to check because I genuinely can't remember. But yeah, no, I think it was done real well. There's the whole, you get a motorcycle as your fast travel. You get there's like the whole the onks there's the glitched onks and stuff like that. Like,
oh yeah, the statue is like, I can smell the glitched onks. Don't bring me any of those fucking glitched onks. I want plain onks, and I just went over and fucking grabbed them anyway.
Yeah.
And you turn back to the statue, and he's like, "These smell like glitched onks," and she's like, "No, they're legit." I'm like, are you sure? I'm like, yeah. All right, I guess my nose must just be off.
He's like, okay.
Yeah.
It's funny.
There's so much good little dry humor in this, just like that. There's so many little jokes. It's so good.
So I was streaming this when I played, and I had my Twitch chat on the side, and then there was the actual Twitch chat on the right side, or not the actual Twitch chat, the hex chat where it was doing the Twitch chat, and there was like the puzzle where you gotta like line up like whatever symbols that unlock the gate. Well, I have a habit of like not looking at Twitch chat when it's spamming stuff. And like I was looking at my actual Twitch chat and I paid no mind to all these trolls that were in the hex chat that I actually missed the puzzle solution because I just refused to
there's
look.
like the developer or like some super fan is in the fake Twitch chat and he's like, "Hey, I have the answer for you." He's like that kind of backseater annoying guy who's gonna like post the answer for the streamer no matter what. He keeps getting banned from the chat and like he's like, "Hey, I made an alt. Here's the answer again."
Free Bandito.
Like giant red letters, like 3 times bigger. It's like no spoiling chat. If you keep doing it, you'll get banned.
Yeah.
He was my Benji. Like I wish it was basically Benji.
I was tuning into JJ's stream during this, and the level of tuning out the chat he was doing was impressive. That was the mark of a true streamer right there. Like, there's little drawings on the puzzle where it's like you were trying to figure out the actual mathematics behind this thing. I don't know if there's actually logic behind it, but like it was like 15 minutes of like you doing that like Pepe Silver meme where like you're connecting all of the lines and dots and things on the corkboard. Like, I know it's connected, I'll find it. And like the chat is paused on the side, like all the spam got cleared, and it's just saying the solution is this, but like you still wouldn't look at it. I'm like, beautiful. I love your commitment to being a pure gamer. You're not gonna cheat.
I skimmed like the entire map looking for any hint for that puzzle, and I did not find one. And I went, all right, I'm gonna just trust the chat guy. Maybe I'll see it later, and I'm like, oh, that's how I was supposed to know it.
Free Bandito.
No, I did not see any hint. Yeah, free my man Bandito.
I love that the whole chat was like free Bandito. That was really.
I love the chat popping off every time you get a crit. Like streaming an RPG must be like fucking crack cocaine with an active chat.
Yeah, it was like a casino dopamine hits whenever you get a crit for the chat. They're like, oh, crit hype, crit hype.
Like, crit city. Like, oh shit. Is this what it's like to be a big streamer?
Overwhelming, and you ignore it.
Yeah, just ignored everything. Except like look at 1 or 2 lines like crit, crit, crit. Okay, got it.
Oh yeah.
Just that one little spoiler chatter in this chat, it cracked me up so much. There's always one, no matter how much you try to say no spoilers, no matter how much you try to get your mods to moderate, there's gonna be one guy that's like, hey, let me tell you everything that you could possibly ever want to or not want to know.
Wow, did you pick HP for your Chandrel? Wow, cringe. Fucking awful gamer.
Right, they were judging you. It was really, really well done. Like from the RPG mechanics to the little story it tells to the twist of it all, like the Twitch chat. Like I couldn't have asked for a better little package. Like I would have been satisfied if the game ended there. But you know, she does get
again. Like, sorry,
no,
go on.
I was just gonna say, she does. The game does not end there, though. She gets her little 3 orbs, and she destroys the world. Basically, she destroys that game.
So, I think we have to backtrack a little bit to explain like her motivation a bit more. Because when you're doing Super Weasel Kid, he gets a 3rd game called Super Weasel Kid 09. Now, I don't know if you've heard about a little cult classic called Sonic 06.
Yeah.
But it's Sonic 06 in Super Weasel Kid form, and he's like frowning the entire time, and the game's a glitchy mess the whole way through. Yeah. And then, like, I guess Combat Arena is like spun off into like yearly entries or something. Like, all these games are getting sold off to a bigger company and getting worse products being put out. So her motivation's like, I don't want any sequels, man. Make it the worst game possible.
Yeah, pretty much.
One and done.
Yeah, she says, I don't want to be a slave to this franchise all my life. We're done. This is it.
You ain't going to Disney Plus me.
But yeah, she does destroy she destroys the world. And so Lazarus too, I guess we should add, because after she does destroy it, that's when she talks to like, I'm brain farting here, like.
The AI game dev assistant, the blue guy, right?
Yeah, the little fart monster guy.
Oh, the fart monster. Okay.
That's Valamir. That's just the guy who was like trying to get a good deal from the AI guy, T. Irving.
Yeah, but Lazarus, your only party member, that you kind of get scolded and punished at the end of it all, right? I'm not skipping ahead there. That's right at the end of uh, her story arc, right?
No, that's about right. Because he was like, "What are you doing? Why are you doing this?"
Yeah, and then so Lazarus gets booted off into his own. Your party member gets teleported into some space marine game. Probably aping off of Gears of War or Halo or Doom or any of the three. Pick your poison.
All of the above.
Yeah, which I thought was cool because you see Lazarus in the Six Pint Inn of when you're doing your intermission stuff and walking around trying to figure out stuff with the keys. So I thought it was interesting to see this connection where it's like a shared universe, like because you had the sorcerer in the fighting game Combat Arena X, and now Lazarus, who is your party member in the RPG, was booted out into his own game. So that kind of is when my gears started clicking, and I was like, oh, okay, we're going to be seeing more of him. We'll find out what happens to him. But yeah, right after that, again, you find some keys, you do this, you do that. It's the interlude part of the game where you find a little bit more about what's going on. It sends you into Rust's game, I believe, right? Russ McLean. He's the fourth patron of the Six Pint Inn, and he's again, this is the genre bending. We go straight into like a strategy RPG, which I was tickled.
It's like instantly like Fallout Tactics of all Fallout games to be imping. It's clearly like he's the survivors, the wasteland. Like the password to his secret vault layer is sarsaparilla, which is one of the sodas from Fallout New Vegas. You collect the caps from and everything. So big ol' love letter to Fallout and tactics games in general. We got a grid-based strategy. He's got a little melee green toxic Avenger buddy with him.
Rocky.
That guy's great.
Yeah, Rocky. His son.
Yeah.
he loves his son, Rocky. He's this big green booger monster with like the highest pitch voice. So every character in this game has like the banjoified voice, like the Animal Crossing E's voice, where they're all going and doing their barks to like talk out their text and everything. So his son Rocky, this like green abomination, is like really high pitch. It's a very good
like
combo.
Mike Tyson,
very
like
simple.
if Mike Tyson had Animalese, he'd be like, "Hey, what's up, guy?"
Yeah.
It's like very tiny. It's so good.
Yeah.
But yeah, Rust kind of basically just is doing the waste world, like ATI said. It's that Fallout kind of vibe to it, or Borderland, or whatever type of game that we're going through. But it kind of
Mad Maxy, survival-y, like all that stuff rolled together. You know the drill.
Yeah, and this is when the game starts kind of breaking the fourth wall a bit more. It was doing it in like earlier stories, but I feel like this is when it starts hitting it in a big way. Like
going behind the curtains a little bit.
Yeah.
Like in the RPG, you could have areas where like you go out of bounds and like you see little developer notes from like the girl who was working with Lionel being like, "I hate working with you. Like you suck so bad," and like all these little things like, "Man, I hope your game fails." And like you can see there's turmoil behind the scenes. Meanwhile, your characters are like the stars on set, and they're just like trying to get their paycheck and get through the day. There's that kind of feel from all the characters you're playing as.
Yeah, so I mean, like it gets right into it. I like I don't know, first, second, a few battles here and there. It's got your tactics world map where you're like going through, the circles, and then there's like a battle flag on one of them, and it brings you into a battle. Typical, strategy RPG fare, and like little things start happening where Rust starts like. He starts, I don't know, not feeling crazy, but he starts being like, wait, what's going on? Like something's not right. You get like a rewind mod, like where if you die, the game it like a mod screen pops up and says like Weasel Boys mod X7 or whatever, and you rewind time, and then Rusty even at that point is being like, wait, what? And you just eventually start like figuring out over the course of Rust's story that like his game was never finished, and that like everything that's going on, because this one has a lot of like nuance and stuff, like enemies are being changed, like weapon like parameters for your character. You get to put on like you get to put the cheat modes on where you get infinite like mobility, max damage, and
Yeah, you get like a little Game Shark console where you get to toggle between like extra gore or like infinite range, and like this is where the game starts like really breaking apart. You had again, we had a bit of that in the RPG. The first two games were kind of solid. You saw there was like a little bit of stuff behind the curtains, but here it's like, oh, the game actually isn't finished. It's falling apart, and like you need the dev console to get through it. So it's like it's very satisfying. This game makes you work for your wins and solutions to puzzles a lot of time, and it makes you work for like the overpowered bits you get at the end of each of these scenarios. Like you get really strong at the end of the fighting game. You get really strong at the end of the RPG. You get really strong at the end of this because you get to just cheat on the fly, but you still need to like work within the puzzles.
yeah. Each battle definitely does feel like its own puzzle. Eventually, like as you make your way through, there's like these minigun things, and if your turn ends and you're in the crossfire, you like immediately die, and then you got to rewind the time with the Weasel turn back mod or whatever. Like it was definitely like fun to figure it out, but it never felt that way. Like even with the fighting game, the tutorial kind of helped you like figure it all out, but it never was like shoving it down your throat. So like being able to play with these mods or cheats, you kind of have to figure out like which, because you only use 2 cheats at a time. So you kind of like you want to swap between your cheats like mid turn to get the most out of what you want to do, and it was just really well done. It never felt like a puzzle, and yet it clearly was. By
like
all
you
means,
toggle on the infinite movement cheat to like move into position, then you turn it off to turn on infinite damage. But then it's like, yeah, using these things, it's again, it's never punishing, and it lets you kind of experiment, because the fail state is you just press the rewind button and okay, I didn't waste any time. I get to just try another way to try to solve this. It doesn't like send you back. You don't have like 5 minutes of progress to redo. It's just try again, get back to it.
yeah, super clever.
So something I liked with it was like once you beat like the second fight in this thing, and it's like, here's the ending. Oh, there's no ending map. It's just missing. It sends you off to the first mod. That mod's actually made by our boy Bandito, by the way. Shout
Nice.
outs
Free
to him
Bandito.
making the
Awesome.
Alien Invasion
Nice.
mod.
Yeah, the Alien Invasion. I noticed that too, but that was
They
Hey,
really
and then
good.
so the mod was like really well received, and the fan reception to it is like, oh yeah, the mod is the only way to play. So the developer gets pissed off. He's like, what the fuck are these people thinking? Aliens in the wasteland doesn't even make any sense.
Mm.
And like the
Yeah.
developers going through like all like this whole period of
It's-
like, how dare people shit on my artistic vision and like this thing that just doesn't even make lore accurate sense, and like it's very
It was a nice touch.
very good. Yeah.
It's definitely rough, and the behind the scenes reason we'll probably go over later.
Yeah,
But it's funny to see him be like so pissed off about it.
and
A clear little reference to like PC modding, like Fallout games needing mods.
Well, I was
and
gonna
stuff
get
like
into
and
that.
Elder Scrolls.
as someone who plays a lot of old like mid 90s late 90s kind of like Might and Magic 7 and 8, there's the gray face mod, there's like all these older games that need these mods to like work. Again, it's not the same idea. These games were finished, but like there are games that were shipped with like game-breaking bugs, and you have to have modders kind of like mod those bugs out to make this game playable. There was a lot of like little things that tickled me because I was just like, ooh, this reminds me of like running through Might and Magic 7 with the gray face mod on where I could do all this stuff, and it was really really cool because again there's just like so much clever nuance in the way these like stories and arcs for the characters are being told, like the way it is so intimate with the genre that it's kind of like parodying. I think it just really does it well, and it was made by someone that has played a lot of games, who has been on the like inner parts of it, on the outer parts of it. Like again, I can't phrase how clever this game is because, like I was gonna say earlier, there's billion-dollar game companies that work on games for years and years, and there's not like a shred of like cleverness to it. Like there's no like no aha moments, no game design trick. Like again, I can't say it enough. The game design in this game, the way it like is like a narrative based story and kind of takes each genre and does a parody of it while also being puzzle based, while also like teaching you how to do these things without ever doing it. Like, get Ego Raptor on the phone, have him make a video about this, because it just
It's
does
because
all
it
that
gets the
well.
script itself down.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's like it's just a developer talking to you. You don't have like the shareholders getting in your ear. You don't have like a 100-person team having things torn in every direction. This is a singular vision of someone who's like, they have been through the ringer. Like, I don't know what his history in the actual industry is, honestly. I don't know if he has much of one, but he's clearly been an active participant in the scene, like you said, for a long time, Daniel Mullen. And he just kind of gets it. He gets the like scope of like what makes it fun to play. I think that there were only a few segments in this that I thought kind of stretched. Like some segments in the RPG section, maybe I felt could have maybe been a little shorter. But again, that just adds to the RPG.
Yeah.
RPGs are going to be long, drawn
Yeah.
out and stuff, so
Faithful.
it kind of plays to it.
Yeah, I think everything really is
Yeah.
deliberate in terms of
And
design.
it all shows like the escalation of like fan desires and demands and like the pressures on the developer and like, what am I gonna do? How do you top this? How do you change this? This thing doesn't work. I like this. People don't resonate with my tone here. They want aliens.
Yeah, no, and it does.
What am I gonna do?
It does come full circle because it does start with like developer, like the developer catering to the fans, and how do I one up my success, and like it takes all these segments of like what it would be to be a game designer. Like the original game is like Super Weasel Boy. How do I make the next big thing? Okay, well, we're past that. Now we're in a fighting game. Well, how do I make this game balanced? Okay, well, we're past that. How do I make this RPG fun without other people ruining it and having it, be challenging? Okay, we're past that now. And then it becomes full circle where it's like, I'm not even in charge of this game as a developer anymore. The game is unfinished and it's still being played by people that love the game through mods. And like, I just think it's, I'll say it again, but I think it's super, super clever. Really, really well done.
A lot of ways, and just how it makes you think about the history and stuff. Again, like a lot of it isn't like outright said to you what it's referring, but like it's clear enough if you were there, or like what it's talking about. So as a like gamer historians, I thought you guys would really dig and appreciate this one just for like having been there in the gamer console wars,
We do have 100 years worth of gaming between all of us. But it's true.
I still see these combat arena X arguments in games now.
Yeah.
With the same exact caveat that they're all successful characters. Yet people will still go to the forums to cry which one's the worst.
Can you guys imagine how long ago it feels like that the times before COVID were. This game was 2018. This is ancient by our standards. It's as ancient as the games it was like imping at this point, right?
Yeah, I do.
So it's kind of cool to visit it now.
I do a lot of rounding up, but we're going into 2026. It might as well be 10 years old in my mind. That's just how I round up.
It's closing up on 20 years, this game, at this point.
50 years by the end of this podcast. But yeah, no, so Rust, his story, has a lot of nuance, a lot of weird little mod changes, a lot of really cool, clever things. And that kind of ends. It comes and goes. He has his little.
He gets to like the end of the border of his game. He gets to like the code at beyond the game, and he starts talking to this like hooded figure that's telling him like, "Hey, there's something going on behind the scenes here. GameWorks is like they injected you with this serum, and they're not what they seem. Blah blah blah. Like all this stuff, like trying to tell you there's stuff going on behind your game, but your Rust is just like, huh? Where's my son? he just wants to find his booger son. That's all he cares about.
Yeah, so that kind of puts a little bow on his story. There definitely is a lot more going on again with the nuance and everything. But after you do finish his story, you do a little bit of intermission stuff, a little intermingling, and then you get into Lazarus, who we met in Secrets of Legendaria as the side character. He's now in his own game. It was Vicious Galaxy, and it's kind of like your Gears of War, your Doom. As I said earlier, it's just
your squad space shooter.
Yeah, for sure. You got a squad that you kind of interact with. It's got the Moogle that's like he's seen some shit. Like I love that guy. I wish I could play as him.
It's got the little monocled what's his name too.
That was the kid of the Moogle you fucking killed back in Legend of back in Secret of Legendaria or whatever.
Yep.
And now he's just like toughened like Moogle who's like, don't let any survivors go, kill them all. And it's like, oh shit, I did this to you, huh?
Even Lazarus was like, ooh, okay, I guess. Like yeah. So I mean, I believe in Vicious Galaxy with Lazarus, he's got his teammates Jay Jr. and Jeremiah, which is funny little Jay play. Reminds me of my aunt.
A little JJ action. Huh?
Reminds me of my aunts. They named all their kids after Jay. They had 4 kids, all Jay names. Hey, Jay name superiority. I can't complain.
Yeah, you didn't escape that.
No, it did not. And they go on a little alien base, and they do the soldier alien stuff, killing this, that, and what were they trying? They were retrieving the it was like an artifact, right?
It was an artifact, yeah.
Okay, because at this point I played this all in one stretch, so I really needed food by this point. So if anyone wanted to help fill in some cracks and holes, please be my guest with this one, because it's kind of like a blur in my mind at this point. You just finished the Zero. What's your take?
Where to start with this? I like how going along with Moji Jr. Like he's like, oh, these aliens are surrendering. You got to kill them all. You can't leave any survivors. There's no room for weakness, because he's still traumatized from us murdering his dad. And like if you don't shoot them, he calls you a pussy. And I think that's fucking hilarious that this little Moogle is calling me a little pussy for this. I did shoot them though, so I'm no better.
We deserve it.
And the other guy was like struggling to carry the bomb over to the core of the security center, and you're like sniping out these aliens. I thought that was pretty cool. That was a fun bit.
Yeah, Jay. His other squad member Jay was he was in Legendaria 2, which I completely forgot about. He was like one of the guys that were just he gives you some info sweeping in front of one of the things. So this game does Vicious Galaxy even have a broader sense of like characters pulled from another game. I think Legendaria, the bit is here that Legendaria failed and was done, that all these NPCs just needed another job, and they were all kind of just
they just had to reuse them.
They were thrown into Vicious Galaxy, which was again just a nice little touch, nice little nuance.
Well,
And if you want to talk like real world connections, they're got a bad job market, don't have anything else. They had to join the military.
Yeah.
They had available to them.
So the funny thing is, like during Combat Arena X, if you like beat Steambot Willie all the way to like the side of the screen, Jay is the one that handles the cane to drag him off screen.
Okay.
And then when you talk to him in Secrets of Legendaria, he actually says he's bored of this job and wants to get assigned to Vicious Galaxy.
Gotcha.
And then he realizes once he gets there that he is not made for these streets.
Not many people are, other than Junior. He's ready to go. He's okay.
Yeah, Junior fucking took us like a fish to water.
Yeah. So, Vicious Galaxy was. I'm trying to remember the overarching like story. Like you're going for the artifact, and then Sato, I guess sadomasochist.
Yeah, there's like virus clown girl who installed into. We didn't even mention Sato earlier.
We should
up in
real quick.
scenarios.
Yeah, let's.
Yeah, this is
really
like
quick.
a virus clown character that was installed by Lionel's coworker into the game, and is kind of just like there to fuck with you and like push the limits of the games. It clearly breaks the bounds of like what the game would be like in the fighting game. It like takes up the entire screen. Its health bar is huge, and like all this stuff, and like it's like clearly something that's bigger than the actual bounds of the game itself.
Yes,
and
super
it's
glitched,
kind of like a persistent force.
Super glitched and evil, basically. Like, because we have to beat Sato in Combat Arena to be banned. Like, we had to beat the glitched, broken character for them to
prove that you're OP.
Pretty much, which was a nice touch. But yeah, Sato has this presence throughout like the game. Some more than others in some other stories, but in general, at this point in the game, at Lazarus' story, you're starting to be like, okay, Sato's kind of like this reoccurring baddie that we kind of have to steal away, finish, kill, get rid of. And
Sato was the one that killed Rocky in the Wasteland Adventures.
Yeah,
it straight up killed your son.
Yeah, that's true.
To touch on that, Sato installs a hardcore mod on you without you realizing it. And then when she kills Rocky, you go into your rewind and you go back to turn 1 and there's no Rocky. And Sato's like, oh yeah, by the way, you're on hardcore mode now. Yeah. Have fun.
And I was like,
really just loves to cause chaos.
You don't have you can't use your cheats, like you're all alone. It's like, fuck, I got used to being OP. Now I got
actually like play the game normally. Shit.
Yeah, and that's another aspect of the puzzle where it like introduces you to all these things and then it like slowly takes it away and you got to adjust. Really, really good.
God, Rust has a hard life, man. Like even after all that, like Rust is like in the sewer and like sees Rocky and is like, oh, thank God it was all just a dream. And then Rocky's face changes to Sato. Mm-hmm. And like, you really thought it was that easy, huh? And it's like, God, what a fucked up day Rust is having.
Honestly, all of them, even Lazarus, he's got that like green skin, like he looks like he's just ready to like die. Like something's going on with him from Legendaria till now.
I guess something else to explain from Legendaria is the creator Lionel talks about like how this game failed because of its bugs and thought that his coworker Carla was putting bugs in on purpose to sabotage the game. And it's actually just because Carla made Sato, and Sato is just chaos and just creates bugs for the hell of it. And there's no through line of like if this is intentional or not.
Yeah, there's not much rhyme or reason. It just kind of seems to be doing its thing, which it's interesting that Sato showed up in Rust's game because during that, like the final act with the walk, when you're doing the walk, didn't he make Wasteland as a separate company, like after everything? So it's interesting how...
Yeah, that's what I thought.
It's interesting how Sato found its way. But again, that could be from the modders. Who knows? She could have said, hey...
It's because it was one of these long time things where like she was like a fan of his games and like gave good reviews and stuff in the early years and was always like, hey, looks good. And then like the more she was spending time with him, the more she was like grew resentful with him. But like she was there with him from the start and kind of like helped him develop some of the early stuff. I forget a lot of that like extra layer, like behind the scenes ARG type stuff. There's a lot of secrets in this game. Like you can look up a secrets list. There's like little bits of information you can get by like doing specific things in the game. Easy to miss a lot of it. But just getting the general background that she was one of his early supporters, and like he drove her away, even though she had a work desk at his final place of employment. When you do the final scenario of like the first person walk through his like game dev studio, you can see Carla's work desk in the office. So like she was there, but like she was clearly over it at that point.
Gotcha. Yeah, but I mean, nothing too crazy goes on in Vicious Galaxy that I'm immediately thinking of in terms of like fourth wall breaking stuff or
Yeah, it kind of just like evolves gameplay a lot. This is the scenario where the actual like gameplay mechanics are constantly introducing something new. Like every new screen you get to, like there's suddenly you have like a sniper rifle. You get to like scroll your screen like 2-3 screens away to like pick off these turrets. Then you get like these little gates that like change you between 3D and 2D modes that you got to navigate between the world, and like lots of little changing gameplay elements.
Yeah,
Like the whole
I
thing
think
is
there's an area too where you gotta get through the laser beams.
the laser puzzle is really fun. I like
yeah,
that one.
all the puzzles were really fun in this specific segment. Got that no scope. I hit that no scope on that one hole for like.
Oh yeah.
That was fun.
I didn't know it was a thing you could do. I gotta
The
go back and do
elevator
that
part
now.
was fun too.
Yeah, the defending like the sides, they're all coming out, kind of a horde. It's
Yeah,
got the horde part to it. Yeah,
and you have to switch to the dual guns.
yeah, you got the spread, or you can. Yeah, there was a lot of ways to do it. You could kind of, if you know where they're going to come out, you could kind of knock out one side and then turn around quick. You could spread your arms out and get both sides. There was a lot of variety. Like ATI said, this was kind of the gameplay part where it kind of just says like, hey, you're running and gunning, you're figuring out puzzles, you're getting different weapons. You're going through it. You're playing like a full on little action game, and
Yeah,
I think it was well done. Again, like everything in this game, it was clever. It was done well. There's even hints as you progress through the story, or not even hints, but Lazarus does keep making comments about like, yeah, after we're done here, like let's get to the Six Pint Inn where we can like escape these assignments and just kind of relax, and because he's been doing this for a while apparently, like he just looks so just again his skin turned green.
So worn
Yeah,
down. Like we all know these kinds of guys who like they look like they have a face that's been like almost melted off their face because they've been at it so long.
yeah, absolutely. Like
More leather than man.
he's over it. Like he did have like a stoic like weird little face in the Secrets of Legendaria, but like now he's got a frown on. His skin is like, I don't know what the choice was with that to make him like ghoulish in appearance, but yeah, he's got that giant Gears of War armor on, and he's so done. He's like, I don't want to be here. I'm like, how? Why? What is life? And once you kind of get through his story, it kind of takes you right back to the Six Pint Inn, and that's when he has the gun out. Right? He takes the shot right after that.
Yeah, the front door starts getting. Or you go ahead.
Doesn't he meet like Weasel Kid when he's going up the tavern?
Yeah, that's when he has he's got like Weasel Kid, and I think there was some Jeremiah. So there's a few people that they return to the Six Pint Inn together or whatever to kind of do their thing. But yeah, that's when he.
Yeah. So
go on, Zero. Go on.
Okay, so at this point, you hear like someone knocking on the front door. And earlier, when you're in the kitchen with Bryce, you could see the top of a wanted poster, and you can clearly see it's the helmet that Lazarus is wearing right now.
But
Or even like his old helmet too. Now I'm looking at it.
Oh, I didn't notice that.
yeah, that's a good.
Yeah, so it's that's T. Irving finally like chasing them down to like catch him.
Yeah, that is pretty
And then
cool.
you go in there and that they're like, hey, you gotta go get the gun. It's time. This is the plan. This is the plan springing.
Oh, I do want to.
Yeah, so all of your game character heroes are all banding together now, being like, "Hey, we all hate this AI assistant that's been running our games. Let's kill him."
And that's where it kind of like all comes to a head. I believe that's when it starts getting into like that. There's been another figure in the Six Pint Inn who's been kind of not saying or doing much, and he kind of has like that
Little mystery
yeah,
man.
he's got like the Watchman kind of like look to him. Like he looks like
Little shadow.
yeah, and this is when it kind of all just really starts coming together, where it all kind of makes sense. It puts a bow on a lot of the stuff where you're just kind of like, oh, okay.
This is like the programmer POV route.
Yeah, it kind of switches gameplay into like it makes the gameplay where you're coding now, where it starts talking about Lionel and how he had to do this and had to do that, and had he goes into Super Weasel Boy and talks about, oh, when I first made Super Weasel Boy jump, and you have to actually like connect those actions to make him jump. Like you become the programmer in the most simplistic way, which was really, again,
So
well done.
A little bit of background for this scenario. It's a little bit of a riffing on like the walking simulators that were big in this era. They still kind of are, but like Stanley Parables, The Witness, all that kind of
The
stuff.
Night in the
I don't know the
Woods.
years. Maybe I'm slightly off on my years.
You're
I don't know
about
the release
right. I
dates.
think
Of some
you're
of these,
about
like,
right.
the walking simulators were like there was a lot of fart huffing from some of these guys at the time. That was kind of like the the general social consensus of like, oh, these walking simulators, all you do is walk, and then the developer is just up his own butt about this stuff. So it kind of gets a little bit of the feel of that as well. When you hear about all of his like genius ideas, and he's like patting himself on the back and everything.
Yeah, like at first it's like, oh yeah, that game did great. I'm very proud of it doing that well. And then like as this autobiography game goes on, and you're developing the more complicated games, he's talking about like how his company's growing and like it's getting bigger. He's got like these bigger ambitions, and they start falling apart, which like reminds me of like several open world games from about the mid 2000 era that he's aping on at that same time.
Yeah, they were. I mean,
After all this, like he's like, oh, I went to the desert and started like I had to go live in Arizona because I ran out of money and I needed someplace to live, and that's why I made Waste Roll, was because I was just in a fucking desert with fans running 24/7 and I was still sweating.
yeah, I think it was really good commentary, because I do feel like in the era of like indie game explosion that we had in like the early, like the mid, like 2010, like 2008 to like 2000, like 2018 or whatever, there was a lot of indie developers that kind of like came and went. Like they made these really cool games, they did solid stuff, and they could never quite reach those highs again. And there was all this pressure to create these products, some mismanaged, some either sold off the rights and the game got just bastardized. Like I thought that was a really cool way to just kind of just come full circle with the way this developer throughout the game was struggling, and it really does show you like, wow, he actually really did struggle. He kind of fumbled the bag. Like he spent all his money, burned all these bridges. Nothing really good came out of it for him, it seemed, despite having.
At the root of it is just he's just this guy with some game ideas. Like, hey, wouldn't this be cool? Why don't you try programming this puzzle this way? Go ahead, you can do it. Like he's like really easing you later into all these
Yeah, he's
little
like,
cute
oh
little
yeah,
tricks that he's cooked up.
Yeah, I like nerfed this puzzle 6 times and dumb it down for you. You still did it. Good job.
He definitely started
But also like
started getting condescending near the end, like very
resentful towards the
really
audience of like not getting his genius and like shit like that.
Yeah, it's like once he's going over like the modding scene for Waste World, he's like, "What's with these fucking idiot gamers liking these mods over my actual game?" And like, I swear this is hitting something in my brain of like an actual thing that happened at one point in the industry, but I cannot for the life of me place what game it was.
Some of it.
I'm sure it's happened so many
Some of
times.
it is on the tip of my tongue. I feel you on that.
Yeah,
But like,
there's
I feel
definitely
like
specific like call outs with that stuff.
I think like just it's all so tied together. I don't like want to jump to this like entirely, but like Sato, like Sato's creator Carla comes up because like she helped with Secret of Legendaria and also Combat Arena X. And was like, we need to make more female characters, and so she creates Sato, and she apparently made a fucking creepy pasta character. And now it's just infecting every other game, and thus it's infected Secret of Legendaria and caused it to be very buggy and bad. And so he blamed Carla for this and was like, she fucking resented me and hates me. And she's like, I was just trying to be his friend. And they got weird once he had like millions of dollars and was my boss instead of just my friend. So it's like one of those little commentaries
like the
about like
overall escalation of all
friends
the, like
can't.
the relations.
Yeah, like friendships become weird when it stops being friendships, starts being boss and worker.
And he did start off in a humble way. Like, it does talk about Super Weasel Boy. He's like, hey, I was just like, a young kid. I had my computer and I had my little weasel and shrew and like
just based off his little pets that he has.
He starts off pretty humble, but the second the money hits that bank account, that 2.5 million or whatever, like he just starts going off the deep end because you aren't jumping around too much, Zero. We are kind of nearing the end of it.
Yeah,
we're getting a little long in the tooth here, but that's a testament to how well this game is. But like even on the shadowy figure, the question mark characters story, like when you're doing the game developer mini game stuff, Sato's like glitches come into the actual like development. Like you start seeing how this interacted, and it looks like some freaking Binding of Isaac creatures that are in the code that you have to like work around. And like it's almost like he knew as a developer that this stuff was here, but he didn't do anything to really like fix it. He just, everything seemed to be like a workaround. He never was like, oh, let me get rid of this. He was just like, oh, I could just do this here.
He puts the rug on top of like a big pile of junk. He's like, oh, you can't see it anymore. It's not going to be a problem.
I think this is just like Lionel just being like the usual like genius guy. Like he's just off doing the next thing. He's not really looking back at his old work anymore.
That's exactly it.
The next thing.
Yeah, it really comes off in a lot of his actions. That really sums it up. I don't think he's malicious. He's just kind of like he gets very sucked into his work, and he's a mad genius of like, I can do it all by myself. I don't need any of these.
Yeah, and it's also wrapped up in his insecurity of being this young and having to be the boss of all these like people older than him with way more experience.
Yeah, to a degree.
And it happens so quick.
Because like the first thing he does when he's got his office is like buys a fucking golden nameplate for his desk, saying that they have to know that I am the boss.
Yeah, he is a bit of a tragic character in a way because, like I said, he did start off bright-eyed and full of like hope, and just the industry seems to have soured him. Like he starts getting condescending towards us and just mean and arrogant, and his relationship with Carla, so like you could see it affected him in every single way, like to a degree where I did kind of felt a little bad for him. But then then
the ending part of what happens.
And then I was just about to get into that. Yeah, like the game comes to a head at the very end where you kind of finish the walking simulator thing and kind of go through all the motions with that, and then you're essentially like asked like, do you want, because there is a hooded figure, which we won't get into too much. You will leave a little bit for the person to play the game if they ever are interested in it. But right near the end, you're basically like asked like, do you want to open this box, right? Like, or the hex. Do we know what the hex really is? Like, was that ever explained? Did I gloss over that?
As far as I know, it was the artifact in Lazarus's game, correct?
Yeah.
Like that was what
Yeah,
you're going to
so
collect?
it's not necessarily like it was in his game. It was so like when you go and shoot Irving when he's in the inn, like you immediately get like transported back to Vicious Galaxy, and like sounds like this is your punishment for it. And then like you're going through a second raid with your team, and then like right at the end, it like suddenly like transforms into the GameWorks HQ, and it turns out like you're raiding the GameWorks HQ to get this hex artifact to use to open this portal back at the inn. So that I guess is just spoiling the whole thing now. So that the root beer guy, Reginald, can go get his revenge on his creator for neglecting him.
Yeah,
Because
so it turns out that the first game that the Lionel made was not Weasel Kid. It was in fact this other game that was buried by GameWorks. They didn't want it to be known because it would hurt Lionel's reputation or something. It's just this simple root beer tapper game, and that's who the barkeeper from the beginning of the game is. And the reason he is in a wheelchair is because GameWorks was like, nope, Lionel says that we can't have you spreading this root beer around anymore. We can't have people knowing about you. We're gonna have to take care of your kneecaps, buddy.
Yeah, pretty much.
yeah, I didn't quite get like why they did that, but yeah, and like later, Irving like goes back to Lionel and goes, "Yeah, no, we're just putting him in another game. Don't worry about it. He's fine. We didn't do anything bad."
Yeah.
So it's like a whole commentary about like big corporations like hiding communications and less than savory dealings from the
And
people who actually have
kind
the
of
power
just
to do
like
something about it.
the properties and brands ending up hating the creators because it turns to such bullshit and they all hate it
Yeah.
all. So they all team up to
like-
just
That's like
get
the
rid
whole
of them.
undercurrent of the game is like they're just dealing with Lionel selling off the IPs to insert big game
Garbage
company you hate
companies.
here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
Selling
like, they're
things
not even
off
aware, like,
using
of
the
the intent
AI
of this.
dev tool. Like
yeah, I think the root beer tender. I think they said something about how like it was like image. Like they wanted
Oh, yeah, you're
Lionel
right.
to be like Super Weasel Boy, best game ever, like first shot, number one. They don't
Yeah,
need to.
first
They
shot,
don't need
you're
to
right.
hear about this rudimentary flash game root beer tapper. Like it was just a little too basic for this image of this golden boy, and they kind of just brush it under the rug, try and get rid of it, and he's still hanging on, as we find out once.
that's like the basis of like Lionel's even contempt. He was like, man, I just wanted to make this simple game. And it's like he tries to brush that away the entire dev journey he's got.
Yeah, you can't escape your past and playing these shitty games that suck ass. But no, like just to wrap it up, we get a choice to open, the hex. At which point we do, like any good gamer, you're gonna do it. You're gonna open it up,
Mhm.
and
Mm-hmm.
it kind of just breaks the fourth wall where you see an image of this real person. It's like it's just a video of Lionel at his computer or whatever.
With Daniel Mullins.
Daniel Mullins, yes, and he just kind of gets murdered like through the screen from this angry character. Like it was really well done. Like I mean, 10/10, no notes. I say that about every game we do here, but hey, I love my games.
You could either take that ending
Well-
literal of like, oh, they actually just went to reality and choked him, or it's like the
Well-
creations will be death of the creator. You can look at it all these different ways. It's a
But-
nice little artistic ending.
Oh, so is this 15? 14 out of 15. We can't let Body Harvest get away with this.
It's true.
I like Body Harvest a little bit, but like I'm not. We can't give that one a pass. I did not get a 10 out of 10.
No.
I'm not letting revisionist history happen here.
It's true. We don't love every game, but we'll
Just most
we'll
of them.
say we'll sing its praises even if we don't love it. I think that's the core.
all of the other games we talk about team up. They reach through the screen and choke out Body
Yeah.
Harvest.
Yeah, I mean that's the hex. I blew through it in one sitting. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
It's $2 per whenever it goes on sale, it probably goes down to that much all the time. So I definitely support these games.
Yeah, it's a nice little trip through the past. It still deals with the present. Like this is always going to be the developer's journey and like dealing with criticism and reception and everything. It's just a nice little snapshot of game history too.
Yeah, endlessly clever, endlessly fun. It looks basic on the outside, but there is.
It's just so fun connecting all the little bits.
Yeah,
I like the little PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds bit near the ending.
Yes, yes. Again, there's so many tiny little bits in here that like reference other gameplay, but like you enter this battle arena, like PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, and you're like in this war zone.
Yeah, I forgot that. Even
area.
in Lazarus's game, the perspective change, it goes from like to his 2D like RPG, or you like switch between the isometric bird's eye view, and that changes what areas you can cross because of perspective. Like, there's so much in this game. Like, there's a lot.
Shout outs real quick to that recurring boss enemy, like dickhead looking guy. He's like the dragon. He's like the worm in the wasteland area. This stupid little face cracks me up, and I loved seeing him pop up over and over.
Shout outs to that bit near the end where you're running through the hallway where all the NPCs are kept for, I don't know, cloning, and like they're all yelling at you at the same time as you run through the hallway.
Yeah.
I love Final Fantasy VII Remake. Thank you for using it in this game.
I thought of that too.
That was good.
I think I even gave that a shout out. Also, Final Fantasy VII reference. And I think with that, we can close out the Hex again.
Yes. Now that we referenced Final Fantasy VII, I think we closed up all the doors here.
I'm doing the Jerry bow right now.
We've gone to and fro, and we released the Hex. So I encourage anyone and everyone, if you haven't bought it, if you somehow stumbled upon this, God bless you. But in general, I think it was a great pick. ATI. That was a nice way to wrap up our spooky month, and we're leading into.
Thanks for enjoying it, guys. There was a nice little bit of horror, a little bit of everything, a little bit of seasoning for the gamers everywhere.
There was.
It was very
good,
very unique.
So yeah, that was the Hex. We're done with spooky month. I think we're moving into nostalgia November, where we'll be talking about a little bit of personal stuff. Games will take a little backseat this month, and we're just going to talk about us. Get to know us a little bit more.
The journeys that make the gamers.
Yeah.
All right, here's your 8-hour Sonic Adventure info dump.
Yeah, we're here for it. But yeah, till next time. Thank you for listening. Later.
Goodbye.
See ya.
Later.